For the third week in a row, it didn't freeze. I wonder what's changed. It's technology, a wonderful thing, isn't it? Anyway, cheers everyone. It's Friday. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, precisely here, and that means it's time for one of these. Let's get this evening's sponsor out of the way. I wish I could be sponsored by them, to be honest with you. Heineken is what is going to be fueling my verbal stream of diarrhea this evening. Yes, God, it's been a long week, busy week, but I've got that rarest of treats this weekend. I've got the weekend off. I haven't booked any lessons in, and I've got a nice little day out planned for tomorrow, which I'll no doubt tell you a little bit about as the stream progresses. You can see that that sofa bed behind me is folded down into a bed. It's not because last time it was like that in a video. Somebody said, "Have you fallen out with the missus?" and being kicked out of the room. No. I've got a mate coming to stay with us for the weekend. He'll be arriving tomorrow, and as I say, there's a little bit of a day out planned, and I'll kind of fill you in on what that's all about as we go through. But first of all, let's see who was first in. Rent to Kill, you've claimed the crown back, mate. You were first in this week. Well done. Then we've got PFY Guitars, Frank Bolam and Mark Gowans, Terry Day, Dave Fiendish, Joe McMurray, Boulder 64. There's Grandpa Joe wishing us all a happy Friday. Sit back and relax with your favourite beverage and enjoy the stream. Cheers to all. Well, that's what I plan to do, mate. Then there's Sean House, and we got Rubbish Guitar Bloke, Peter Collins, John Mack, Peter Nicholson. There's Timbo right there, and Malcolm Thompson hot on his heels. Malcolm Spillett is saying hello, and then he's got to go out and get some beer. Well, I hope you're back by now, mate. Dr. Gomez is in, so is Peter S. and David James. There's Vincent Brennan, Tom Clark, John Ross, Edwin Toonan. Greetings from Amsterdam. Long time no see, mate. Hope you're keeping well. Then we got Cylon Hybrid, Mark Kerno, Peter Goddard, 1960, and Johnny D is in as well. Who else have we got? Let's have a little bit of a scroll. We've got Bill Mumbo and Stuart Young. Nathan is in, so is David Evans, Calby and the Rocco Cat, and Jed Ellis. There's Deco Dude, Cal Texper, and Peter Shields. Anyone else? Yeah, Michael Purcell is in, so is Phil, Robert Forsyth, Dave Lewis, and Dave Snack Stevens. We got Farjohn is in, and Mott the Hoople 2010. What are you saying there, Mott the Hoople? Hello, chaps. Fun playing Open G from 74 with John. Yeah, it was it was just, I don't know why I picked 1974 to put in the title of that video. It just seemed kind of about right, sort of mid-70s, when everybody at some point was using Open G. I've got a super chat there. Let's have a look at what that's all about. Heineken sponsorship, says Edwin Toon, and thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. I promise you it will go to a good cause, namely this one. Then who else have we got? We've got we got John Channing and Colin Falcon. Colin, mate, I've just finished making that video with that Strat you loaned me, so it's ready for you to come and grab whenever you need it, and I hope you enjoyed the case of beer. Me and Colin have a little bit of an arrangement. He sometimes loans me guitars, and there's I always stand him a slab of beer for the privilege, because he always just pops around and drops them off and says, and he gets a case of beer. Hope you enjoyed it, mate. Then we've got 60s man. We've got Triple Distilled. Fish finger tacos coming soon. Fish finger tacos. I've never tried fish fingers in a taco, but I do like a fish finger sandwich. Big, fat, thick, doorstep white bread. Loads of butter, not margarine, not sunflower spread, butter. And you spread it on, and then on one slice of bread you have ketchup, and then the other slice of bread you have salad cream, and about half a dozen fish fingers in between. Now that is the food of champions, let me tell you. Then who else we got? We've got Stevie Mack. We've got Les Roper, and Sargi is in as well. So is Marvellous Bloke. And I see Malcolm Spillett's back. I hope you got your beer, mate. Then we've got Eric Luttinger, Brad Dowell, Ben Allmark is in. So is Martin Bix, guitar bass dude, John Little, and Dingers63. Who else have we got? Let's have a quick look there. We got Searching for Tone. I just saw that you gave me a shout out on your channel the other day, mate. Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated, and thank you for kind of spreading the word a little bit. So if you haven't already, go and subscribe to Searching for Tone's channel. There's some good stuff there. Anyway, we got Mr. Stephen Hedger. I nearly missed you out there, mate. Mr. Chris 5254, and Mickey Walnut is in. There's my mate Steve Cassidy. Don't forget his video coming straight after this one today. Hope you had a fantastic time at Gear Street, mate, and hope you, I saw your part of your live today your live was yesterday, but I watched it today on catch up, but I was doing other things, and I think I heard you saying you got a bit starstruck. Easily done, mate, easily done. Then we got Jeff Benner, Ravensmead, Edward P, and anyone else. Jay Aoyong is in. So is, let's have a look. That's just, when the chat moves. I can't find it now. Apologies if I've missed you there. Peter Collins, there you go. And anyone else? Robin Fawcett. And I think that is pretty much everyone. Apologies if I've missed your name out there. It's just this, just me. I don't have an army of interns and staff and everything. Oh, so many YouTubers now that I see. They all talk about, they've got editors and they've got staff and they've got, they're employing so many people. I'd love to get in the position where the money is coming in to the point where I could do that. But, this is just a one-man band. This is just me, just sitting in front of a webcam and talking nonsense most of the time. Anyway, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has signed up for the Tier 2 Patreon thing so far. That's starting to kind of get a little bit of momentum behind it. If you're not sure what that is, well, as I say in all of the videos, $3 or £3 a month gets you all of the tabs and jam tracks and all of the stuff that I've always done on Patreon, but I've introduced a higher tier, $6 a month, and you get a twice monthly Zoom call, well, basically a Zoom hangout where we all, just kind of get together and have a chat. I've no idea what we're going to be chatting about. It's going to be, I'm planning it as basically just a Q&A where people can sort of ask about guitar related or perhaps non-guitar related things. So that's going to be happening twice a month starting September the 3rd. And the other thing I'm going to be doing is some sort of reaction video kind of stuff, which I'm always bemused at how YouTubers seem to get away with putting reaction videos up without getting, kind of hammered for copyright. I tried doing one once and it immediately got blocked. So I didn't do it again. But they won't get blocked on Patreon, so I'm going to be doing some kind of reaction videos, possibly tying that in with the Top 5 Tuesday videos, where I'm talking about favourite musicians or in a particular genre or favourite albums. Any kind of music-related Top 5 Tuesday video, there will probably be some sort of accompanying reaction video up on Patreon to just to kind of, because it's the hardest thing in the world when I'm talking about music to kind of give it, to convey, what it's about without actually playing it, so that the Patreon thing will enable me to kind of get a little bit of that sort of content in, and hopefully you'll enjoy it and I'll have fun doing it. So yes, what else do I need to talk about? Oh yes, t-shirts. The Fattercaster t-shirt. We've done and we're going to be doing later on in the stream today, viewers' guitars. And I've got a good selection, a dozen or so to show you tonight of pictures that have been sent in of some of your wonderful guitars that you are playing, and some really nice ones this week, I think. Well, I know there are because I chose them earlier. But if you've purchased one of the Fatacasters t-shirts, send a selfie in with you wearing it, and that can become a new section on the live stream as well. Or maybe I'll just do it at the end of the videos like Phil McKnight does with the Know Your Gear t-shirts. Either way, it will be featured on this very channel in some way, shape or form. So yes, if you've got pictures of your guitars that you want to send in, or pictures of yourself wearing this fine piece of apparel, then jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Dead easy to remember. JR for John Robson, Guitar Tuition. That's what I do for a living. JR Guitar Tuition, all one word, at gmail.com. Send your pictures to that address, and they'll probably appear on here. Well, they will appear on here at some point. So yes, that was the couple of. I often kind of get to the end of a stream, think that's been a good stream today, and then I look down at my little pad and I think, oh crap, I didn't mention this, and I made a note that I needed to mention that, and I've forgotten. So I thought I'd get that out of the way before we crack on. So before we talk about what's coming up on the channel this week, I just needed to finish that. You spread that t-shirt well. Yes, indeed, yes. I spread all my clothes well. It's the reason I look so young, mate. There are no wrinkles on a balloon, are there? Ian Clark's listening in the car. We've got Maria Muggs Davies in. Nice to see you. And Mark Fahy. Or is it is it Fahy? I'm assuming it is anyway. What are you saying there? Landon Bailey just did searching for tone. Landon Bailey just did a funny video with Henning where he revealed the meaning behind his YouTube screen name. I shall have to keep a lookout for that. Anyway, let's tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. If you were watching yesterday, then you will have seen me unboxing the new PRS. The PRS SECE24, and got a great deal on that guitar, especially with the trade-in value that came with that snot green one. As I said in the video yesterday, the green one, beautiful guitar, played absolutely gorgeous, really love the sound, but could just never ever get away with the colour of it, and that surprised me. Actually, it surprised me that it bothered me that much. But this one with a nice kind of maple top and everything, which I would show you now, but I can't because it's not here, and I'll tell you why that is in a moment. Yes, so tomorrow is Sunday is the full review of that guitar. Then on Monday, have you ever been like? You pronounce it Faye. Says Mark Faye. I beg your pardon, mate. I am kind of sensitive to that a little bit myself, because Robson, although in this part of the world Robson as a surname is kind of not far short of like Smith or Jones in terms of how commonplace it is. It's not that commonplace elsewhere in the world, and I've number of times I've been called Robinson or Robeson or Robertson, and just it doesn't bother you to begin with, and then it just begins to grind a little bit. So apologies if I mispronounce anyone's name. Mark's saying no problems. It's in the Irish, it's different. Well, there you go. So anyway, Monday's video, solo analysis. What was I saying? Have you ever been like completely wrong about who played a solo? This has happened to me a few times. And when I first heard this solo, because I first heard this solo way back in the 1990s. And then, fast forward a good few years to the dawn of YouTube, and the YouTube guitar community starts reappearing. And one name that became very prominent quite quickly was Tim Pierce. And after having watched a few Tim Pierce videos and then listening to this solo again, I'm thinking, yeah, you're a session guitarist, Tim. You did that, didn't you? You played on that album. And then I checked it out and it wasn't. But it sounds so much like a Tim Pierce solo. It's from a Mary Chapin Carpenter album from the early 90s. So a little bit of that kind of 90s country rock. I've done a solo off this album before, and I thought I've just been listening to the album a little bit more lately, and I thought, that's a great solo. So we're going to take a look at that on Monday. Then Tuesday is a top 5 video, and this is the sort of thing I mean, talking about the reaction videos. I'm going to start doing some of these kind of things for the tier 2 Patreon supporters. I'm going to be talking on Tuesday about my top 5 slide solos. I've talked about my top 5 slide guitarists in the past, but not my favourite individual slide solos. So that is what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday, and at some point I'll chuck up maybe a little bit of a Patreon-only video relating to that. Then Wednesday is continuing the Rhythm Wednesday theme. We are basically looking at we've looked at kind of electric guitar strumming as opposed to acoustic guitar strumming, but there are more things that you can do on an electric guitar other than strum. And I don't mean playing solos, I mean things that you can do as part of the accompaniment that aren't just strumming chords or playing riffs or that sort of thing. So just a few little ideas for that. How to make your electric guitar part kind of sit in a mix quite nicely with that, and perhaps add a little bit of character to it as well. That's what we're going to be looking at on Wednesday. And then, Thursday, the one you've been waiting for, the full review of this pedal here. This fantastic pedal, this utterly game-changing pedal. People use a game changer all the time, but this thing here, this £100 pedal, it's a Marshall JTM 45 in a box, and you've got the boost thing on here as well, which is just like putting, say, like, I don't know, a tube screamer or even a Marshall governor pedal into the front of a JTM 45. Now I wonder which particular guitarist that I've a penchant for used a Marshall JTM 45 with a governor pedal going into the front end of it for an iconic album from 1990. Yes, I wonder who that could be. So I've been having a load of fun with this pedal. I really, really have. It needs to be said, though, that this pedal really suits this guitar. You start playing something with single coils into it, though, and it's it's just not the match. It still sounds great, but it's just not the match made in heaven. And that that it is when you play a Les Paul. I see Jay Aoyong saying there was Sleepwalk by Les Paul played on a slide guitar. I'm not sure Les Paul did Sleepwalk, did he? I always thought that was Santo and Johnny. That's like the famous version, and then Hank Marvin and the Shadows covered it. The Santo and Johnny version, I believe, was played on a lap steel. Mark Fay is ahead of me there, saying Sleepwalk by Johnny and Santos was played on either slide or pedal steel, one of the two. I never saw or heard Les Paul play slide. No, I'd go along with that, mate. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Les did do a version of it, because he was quite prolific, but it's not a version that I'm familiar with. Check out the Brian Setzer version, by the way. That's pretty cool as well. So yeah, that Jim's 45 review, and then I've got another video coming up the following week on that, where it's been compared to the Blue Guitar Amp one, which is Well, as you know, that little piece of kit has a very special place in my heart. Another video that I'm kind of working on, just kind of putting together at the moment, is I did one on this topic, oh gosh, it's got to be a year or more back, about my pedal board. Well, my pedal board has had something of a rearrange, so I'm going to be, but it's not complete yet. What I would love to get is the sound of that Jim's 45 and the Blue Guitar Amp 1, both on the pedal board at the same time, not to kind of daisy chain them, but so I can go from one to the other. So that is going to be a video which I'm going to be putting together as and when, I don't know. Anyway, how far in are we? Oh, we're 20 minutes in, and yeah, I'm going through the beer. I'm going to tell you, it's been warm but windy here today. I took the dog out for a walk this afternoon, and the breeze was like having a hairdryer blowing in your face. It was, just not my kind of weather. It really isn't. I don't like it windy, and I don't like it warm. It makes me thirsty, but thankfully there is coolant available. Johnny D, yes, I'll go along with that. I forgot about that. Danny Gatton's Sleepwalk was fab. And let's have a look. Dr. Gomez 1 is saying, I've just bought one. It's based on a Jimi Hendrix amp. Jim's doesn't mean anything, Jim Marshall. I'd like to see compared to Joyo British Sound Pedal. That would be a great comparison. Way back in the mists of time, I had the Joyo British Sound. I can't remember whether mine was badged as a Joyo or whether it was badged as a Harley Benton, because they were both, kind of interchangeable. A pink pedal, I seem to remember. But that would be... I bet you can pick those up for absolute peanuts on eBay. So I'll look into that. That would be an interesting comparison. Maria Muggs Davies saying, I love Apache by the Shadows, a classic from the good oldie days. Again, oh, sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to put you up on the screen there. Again, way back in the mists of time, I did, for the Patreon supporters, I did a whole song breakdown of Apache, and there's like the tab and the backing track and everything up there. I think it was one of the first things I did when I got a Strat-style guitar again, namely the Sire S7. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can go and dig through the posts. People have asked me about on Patreon about how can you kind of organize the posts. I cannot find a way of doing it to make them searchable, where you can search for it. I always put like loads of tags in, and it's those tags which are meant to be kind of search responsive, if you like. That make, so you can search the post of a particular creator for a particular topic or song or whatever. And when I try it, it doesn't work, but I don't know if that's because I'm searching my own Patreon. It's not possible for me to search it as a kind of Patreon member rather than a creator. But, if someone from Patreon is listening, or if you are a more experienced Patreon kind of creator than I am, can you please tell me how I can make my posts searchable? But it is up there, the full song breakdown of Apache by the Shadows. Let's have a look. Graham Campbell saying, I've got the K-Line Baker Street, which does a decent job at the Marshall stuff. Yeah. Balder 64 saying, James Marshall Hendricks, how did his father know? Indeed. And where are we? Rent a Kill saying, it was cold and raining at 5 this morning here. I didn't want to get up and go outside. Yes, it was pretty miserable here. We get up at 5:30, and Dougal, who is going to be featured in an upcoming video, by the way. I know you like to see him. Not massively, he's not having a starring role, but he is featured in an upcoming video. You know, he was whinging at the back door, crossing his little legs and hopping from one foot to another. Obviously, he needed to go out and do what he needed to do, but he took one look at the rain and thought, do you know what, I'll hold it, and came back inside. So I'll get that, but it soon cleared up. You know, as I say, this afternoon, it was just really kind of warm and muggy and not particularly pleasant. What we need is a typical British summer. You know, who was it who said that a typical British summer is 3 warm days and a thunderstorm? Well, we've had plenty of warm days. Can we now have the thunderstorm, please, to clear the air? Balder, what are you saying there about Foster's? Foster's cooking lager has now dropped to 3.7% ABV. If the big brewers think I'm going to drink their Whittle, now that's watered down Whittle, they've got another thing coming. Yeah, I mean, I don't have many requirements for lager, if I'm honest with you. All I ask is that it's somewhere above 4%. The closer to 5, the better, but 4.8, 4.6 I'll settle for, and that it's cold, and that's it. You know, once you've got those two kind of criteria out the way, it just comes down to price and what deals the supermarkets have got on. You know, it's I do like a nice pint of kind of cask conditioned. You know, kind of real ale when I'm in a pub, though. But I go out to drink so rarely these days that I drink in the house. You know, which is apparently something that is, you know, I should be concerned about, but I'm not. And you know, I mean, in here, in this room here, it gets warm and it gets kind of humid and sweaty, and I'm in here for a good 12 hours a day, kind of beavering away, doing guitar lessons, making videos, Zoom calls, and what have you. And come 8 o'clock on a night, I just want something cold and soothing. So there's usually a couple of these in the fridge, a couple or 3 or 4. Or sometimes 5 in the fridge, and you know, and that's all I need. But you know, a good pint of Theakston's XB, I'm missing that. It must be said. Thing is, when you put any of those kind of decent cask ales in a can or a bottle, to me, I just think it ruins them. Anyway. Michael Purcell is saying readers' wives. Yes, I'm on it, mate. Jay Aoyong is saying brew your own. Yeah, the thing is, this is a small house, and I used to do homebrew, and the only thing is with homebrew, it's cheap and you get good beer and everything, but there is a particular smell that's associated with, not an unpleasant smell, but there is a homebrew smell. And I have, you know, kind of many people coming to this house for guitar lessons, including, you know, some, you know, kind of younger people. And basically, I don't want the house smelling like a brewery. Anyway, I'm getting nagged in the chat. Let's have a look at some pictures of the guitars that the readers' wives that people. Where's it gone? Excuse me a second. Share screen, that's what I'm looking for. Right. And it's done it again. Excuse me, I need to go on. I have the file open, but the share screen doesn't want to pick it up unless I open it again. Anyway, it's just me being... Oh, come on. Excuse the technical difficulties. Right. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? So, share screen. And there we go. It's working now. Anyway, this is a rather attractive looking guitar. You know my predilection for Telecasters. Can anyone spot what is different about this guitar. Take a good close look at it. For instance, count the number of pole pieces on that pickup there. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. What's going on there then? Well, this, as you can tell from the title there, this guitar belongs to Berry Krautboy, who was watching my my Open G tuning video the other day, and it inspired him to send me a picture of this guitar. This is a custom built 5-string Telecaster that he's had made by, let's see if he did say on the yeah, I can't read that maker's name on the headstock there, but it's basically a custom build and a 5-string Telecaster, because Keith Richards obviously only ever has 5 strings on his Telecaster for the Open G tuning, and you know, and this is a 5-string Telecaster made specifically for Open G tuning, and it's just a beautiful looking thing. I just think there's something gorgeous about the simple lines of a Telecaster, especially in like the blonde finish with the black guard. Gorgeous. Absolutely lovely, mate. Anyway, what we got next? A couple of SGs from Dave Lewis. Dave, I've got your email somewhere telling me what these are, and you know, I should have read it before I looked at it, but you know, lovely. The thing about an SG is I do love the look of it with this vibrola, or maestro, is it? That's the one it's called, the maestro vibrola. Anyway, the kind of trem that they have. I mean, absolutely catastrophic for tuning, but it just looks so cool and retro, doesn't it? And definite Tony Iommi vibe going on with this one here, all in black. Beautiful pair of guitars, mate, and leaned up against a Marshall cab. I mean, how rock and roll is that? Gorgeous. Then we've got David Roberts Gnecco or Necco SG. He assures me that it's not a Greco. If we take a look up at the headstock, we can see that that is in fact an N, not an R. It's not a Greco, unless you know, it was some kind of shenanigans with the logo. But what a gorgeous looking SG. One of the first ones with a set neck from 1974. That is an absolute marvel, mate. Such a proper like Survivor guitar. That looks brand new. And it's what, 50 years old? Dear me, that's amazing. Then a guitar that I am still gassing after, it has to be said. When I first saw the Gibson Nighthawks that came out in the 1990s, I was torn between, is that an ugly duckling or a beautiful swan with that slanty pickup and everything? And since then, I've just become a massive fan of them. I've never owned one. If anybody that lives local to me has an Epiphone Nighthawk, and you're prepared to lend it to a ham-fisted fat lad to make a few videos with, then you know, give me a shout, because I'd love to get my hands on one of these. It's just like, you got the Firebird pickup in the neck, you've got like this big kind of ballsy humbucker in the bridge. The thing about these pickups is, you know, my first reaction about these was, well, yeah, but what happens if you want to change the pickup? You know, you're going to have a hard time finding a replacement pickup. Well, there are a few companies that make them, but I've never met anyone that's got one of these guitars, or spoken to anyone that's got one of these guitars, that wants to change the pickup. So, you know, there's got to be something to be said for that. I think it's a gorgeous looking thing, mate. Congratulations on owning such a nice thing. Then you recognise this one. It's like the negative of the guitar that I put under the spotlight last Sunday, the Hagstrom Super Swede. The one that I had a loan of was black, but dear me, I think I prefer it a little bit more in this colour, in the white. It's just, that looks really properly smart, doesn't it? And these guitars, if you're into that whole sort of Duesenberg vibe, but you don't have Duesenberg money, then grab one of these. You know, for seriously kind of like, I mean, I think 500-600 quid, you can probably pick one up for. Absolutely gorgeous guitar. Plays like a hot knife through butter and sounds gorgeous. And that one, I've got to tell you, in that colour, I think is stunning looking. Then we've got some guitars from Ian Cochran, a Fender Mike McCready Strat. Yeah, the whole relicking thing, you know my thoughts on that, but some people like it. But, then, again, a brand of guitar that I've been seriously gassing for, Heritage. They have done, like, thanks to Dave Lewis, who sent me some pictures of one that he's got. They've done like a sort of a budget range import kind of brand, like which looks sort of analogous to the sort of lower end bolt-on Epiphones now. But one of the kind of USA made ones is on my to-do list to check out. I'd love to get my hands on one of those. And then talking about Duesenberg, a Duesenberg Fullerton in TV vintage white. Lovely looking thing there. They just got something kind of retro and cool. If a guitar could have, a pencil mustache and a quiff, it would look like a Duesenberg. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just got that sort of whole 50s kind of thing going on. Then another SG. This is Fiend Tunes 2015 SG Standard. That just looks like a proper solid workhorse guitar. That could. I noticed it. Yeah, it's one of those Les Paul 100th anniversary ones. Yeah, didn't they come with the robot tuners? I don't think you mentioned in your email whether they still have whether you left those on or not, because I know a lot of people took them off. But just, I mean, you picture a Gibson SG in your mind. I say this about loads of guitars. You picture a particular guitar in your mind, and a certain kind of image comes, is conjured up. And for me, think Gibson SG. You think that colour and looking like that. Yeah, lovely looking guitar, mate. Well done. And then Richard's Epiphone ES175 Premium in Vintage Sunburst. Let me explain who Richard is. There's a very kind chap who's loaned me a couple of guitars, or more than a couple, called David. And he's got a mate who's a massive guitar collector. And David was round there and basically took a few pictures of some of Richard's guitars. And this is one of them, a beautiful looking guitar. They're proper jazz box. It's just, yeah. I always think I'm going to love a guitar like that, and then I try one, and I love the idea of guitars like that more than I love the idea of kind of owning one and playing one. It just feels so weird playing something that feels like an acoustic but produces an electric sound. Absolutely gorgeous looking thing. Proper kind of Joe Pass or Barney Kessel. Or, who else? Can't think of, awful when your mind goes blank. I can't think of any other trad jazz guitarist, but beautiful looking thing. Anyway, and then Robster Boy. Robster Boy is the guy who always has his camera pointing the wrong way around. This is his lovely Martin acoustic. He didn't tell me which one it was, but just that it's a Martin, and we can verify that. We can see it's a Triple O Junior. Yes. As I say, I give Robster Boy lessons on a Saturday, and he's often playing like one of his guitars. I don't think I've ever seen him playing this particular one in the lesson, though. It's often his Strat that he's playing. And then another stunning looking Telecaster here. This comes from Stephen Hall. This is a Partscaster Telly. And Stephen discovered my channel when I was talking about doing the Gilmore mod on my Nashville Telly. And that's what he's got going on here. What a versatile pickup layout here. This is obviously a T-style bridge pickup, like a P90, the staple P90, and then a Filtertron style pickup in the neck position. It's been a while since I've had a guitar with Filtertrons. Might have to look into that in future, but just again, just the epitome of a Telecaster. I mean, without the middle pickup, obviously, and without but that sort of color combination is just I think a gorgeous looking thing. Yes, and this is a parts caster that Stephen's put together, and he describes it as a proper Swiss Army knife of a guitar. It'll do anything, and you can believe it with that sort of pickup combo. Let's have a look and see what's... we got a big old collection here from Tony Backlinde. I do apologise if I've mangled the pronunciation there. We'll rattle through these pretty quickly from left to right. We've got a Fender Ultra Strat HSS. We've got a Fender Mex P bass from Player Series. We've got a Fender Player Plus Nashville Telecaster, a Taylor 214 CE Plus acoustic, a Fender Mex Jazz Bass Vintera series, a Gibson Les Paul 1950 Standard, a Fender Vintage 261 Strat, and a Gibson SG Standard 61. Isn't that just one of the most rock and roll looking pictures that you can see? Marshall and Orange amps and all of those gorgeous guitars. What a stunning looking collection, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. And that concludes the Reader's Wives section for tonight. Excuse me, I need some more beer in my throat. Right. While I'm looking at pictures of guitars like that, I can't keep up with the chat, so let me just have a quick wee look at the chat. And John Mack saying, is that Dr. David? No, this is a different David. Dr. David is a different David. I haven't heard from him in a while, actually. He tends to kind of pop up every now and again. I know him and last time I spoke to him, he was expecting a new arrival, not a guitar. His missus was, kind of about to give birth. So I think he may have had a lot more on his plate than just guitars. Let's have a look. What else have I missed? Michael Purcell saying Steve Morse style pickups. Yeah, that was my my first thought when I saw that that telly with the different pickups. It had the whiff of Steve Morse about it. Mark Faye saying my mate had a Gibson Nighthawk back in the day, but it didn't stay with him long. Yeah, they were a sort of a bit of a divisive guitar. People thought them, as I say, when I first saw them, I thought Ugly Duckling or Beautiful Swan, and I ended up thinking Beautiful Swan. Let's have a look. Stylized R on the Gnecco/Greco. Well, the chap who sent me the picture insisted that it was a Gnecco. Mark Fay is saying, how do I send you a couple of pictures? Just send them to my email, mate. JR Guitar Tuition, JR for John Robson, Guitar Tuition. That's what I do for a living. That's all one word, no caps, no dots, no nothing like that. JR Guitar Tuition at gmail.com. And then they will land in my inbox, and I'll kind of, when I'm supposed to be doing some work and kind of editing a video, I'll be kind of looking at your guitars instead, Skyping. But I won't blame you for that. Edward P. saying, if John lost his specs, he could do a passable Colonel Kurtz. Anyway, well, we can try that. And suddenly, everything is a bit blurry now. Yes. Are you trying to say I'm a big lad? Like, are you trying to say I'm fat? Because you'd be right. Let's see what's been going on further up. We're back up into the homebrew now, and I think that's I'm pretty much caught up on everything there. Lots and lots of comments about the absolutely gorgeous guitars. Johnny D is saying, anyone use a Bigsby? Do they stay in tune, or are they for just slight wobbling? In my experience, mate, just slight wobbling. They are. I mean, aside from a Floyd Rose, they are just the most pain in the backside things to restring. Though it has to be said, it's one of those, restringing a Bigsby is one of those things where, you know, basically it's like soldering. You need three hands. There's all kinds of. I've only done it once. I've only restrung a Bigsby once, and I thought that's enough for me. But there are plenty of YouTube videos explaining like kind of hacks and fixes that you can do for it. If you like that style of trem, then you can. There are plenty of the Duesenberg trem that you can buy as an add-on, which I don't think they're that expensive. I've never priced one up, but a mate of mine had a Harley Benton. What's the SG copy? Harley Benton DC something for double. Anyway, it was the Harley Benton SG copy, and he just put I think it was a Duesenberg trem straight onto that, and worked a treat. A little bit of this stuff, this nut lubricant. This is, I don't know what this is, but just I find all of these nut lubricants pretty much of a muchness. This is Super Lube Gel Pen. Yeah, you could. The jokes write themselves, don't they? But this nut sauce, any of the sort of stuff, or you can just kind of good old fashioned dodge of grinding up some pencil graphite and brushing that into the nut slots. That always helps, but you're never going to get like proper sort of dive bomby kind of performance out of it. That's not what they're for. John, if we can arrange it, I will bring my Heritage H555 up to Redcar for you to have a look for a couple of hours. Oh, that'd be great, mate. Yes, I should be able to get a video cranked out in that sort of period of time. We'll have to just drop me an email, mate. I said the email address earlier, and we'll see what we can do logistically. Because you could appear in the video, even if you're up for it. And I could get some kind of content cranked out with that. But that's a very generous offer. Thank you so much. Johnny Random saying I use a pencil for nut lube. Steve Cassidy saying, totally agree on the Duesenberg trems. Also made by Goldo and Geica do a version now too. Not tried is it Geica or Geeka yet though? Anyway, he's not tried that one yet. Yes. On road again, what are you saying there, mate? Thanks for the great content. What are your thoughts on being a professional guitar player in the year 2024? Do you recommend it as a professional to your young students? Is it still worth it? Well, I just sort of looked into being a professional guitar player. It wasn't a choice that I made. I come from the northeast of England, and when I left school in 1984, you didn't say to your careers teacher or your parents even that you wanted to be a musician. It was like, go and get a job at the steelworks, get a proper job. And I ended up studying electronics at college and working in the electronics industry for a little while, then got laid off and just put an ad in the local paper because I didn't want to go on the dole. Put an ad in the local paper for guitar lessons, and it sort of kind of came from there, really. And I'm the luckiest man alive that I've managed to parlay, my my rather limited skill set into a living, it has to be said, and for many years it was a case of I was flying the plane as I was building it. It's possible to make a living. You've got to be able to turn your hand to anything though, and you've got to and by anything I don't just mean playing the guitar, teaching the guitar, blogging about the guitar would be a thing these days, making YouTube videos about the guitar, and I tried doing, before YouTube became sort of the thing where I settled, I tried kind of, doing the whole social media thing and that to try and get some traction, to try and parlay that into some sort of career. I didn't really know how I was going to do it. I'd been teaching for quite a long time by then. And just the YouTube thing, that's where the rubber hit the road, and it just kind of took off slowly. It has to be said, but it took off, and so the tuition thing is the way that I've kind of made my living out of it. And once you get into your sort of mid-30s to your late 30s to your 40s to your mid-40s to your late 40s, and now I'm in my 50s, the appeal of living out of a suitcase and going on the road and all that sort of stuff just kind of begins to wane a little bit. So I'm very, very, very fortunate that I found this way of making a living that suits me, and I get to play guitar all day, make a living doing it, and I can walk the dog every day and kind of spend a couple of hours in front of the TV with the wife every night. Whether or not I'd recommend it to somebody, it's not for me to say. If you absolutely feel that it's something that you have to get out of your system, and you're a young person and you don't have a mortgage to pay, and you don't have like a family to support or anything like that, when is there a better time to try it? Just get out there and give it a go. I was fortunate that I was made redundant from a job that I didn't like very much, and that kind of forced me into into getting out there and giving it a go. And I'm not saying there hasn't been the odd lean year. There's been quite a few, but so far it seems to have kind of worked. Michael Purcell is saying, have you thought of doing shorts for TikTok? Yeah, not really, no. It takes me 10 minutes to kind of go through the intro to the live stream. So to do what's TikTok, it's like 60 seconds, isn't it? It's and I know how long it's taken me to kind of build this presence on YouTube, and the idea of starting from scratch on another platform and trying to build that as well. No, I'll just kind of stay here, thanks. The other thing is, I don't really want to just become a YouTuber. I don't want that to be my sole thing, and it's not because of any, kind of, what would you call it, antipathy towards YouTube as a platform. I love doing YouTube videos, but I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want kind of the online social media kind of thing and YouTube to become my only, my sole source of revenue. Every time in the past where I've thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do because this is earning me the money at the moment. Every time I've kind of jettisoned everything else and gone with that one particular thing. It only takes a minute change in circumstances, and the rug is pulled from under your feet, and suddenly, what was a good livelihood suddenly is, you're on the bones of your ass once again. So, it's. I don't know. I'm seeing there, who was it said? Peter Nicholson saying, is it a curry or kebab tonight? No, it's neither. It's enchiladas tonight. Ravensmead is saying, joining the covers band and playing a lot is still a good start if you want to turn pro. I would absolutely 100% concur with that. It may not be as fulfilling playing covers, especially music that you're not that necessarily fond of. I remember treading the boards in the 90s, playing stuff by Chesney Hawkes and Right Said Fred, and one or two other bands that that I was just not particularly keen on, shall we say. It's not as fulfilling as playing music that you've written and that is your own original music. But the thing is, it does tend to get bums on seats and get and get the gig fees coming in. So if you're being professional, then you have to be professional and not start kind of getting precious about, oh well, that's artistically not where I'm at. Just no, not fish finger enchiladas, triple distilled. It's no, it's basically I did a big batch cook of chili a little while ago. So what you just get a block of chili out of the freezer, and it's chili cheese fries, or it's chili con carne, or it's chili with jacket spuds and salad, or tonight it's going to be enchiladas with chili. Stevie Mac. Yes, that was the song we used to have to play, mate. That was the song that I used to have to play night after night after night, and round about the same time as I was playing Achy Breaky Heart and I Am the One and Only every night as well. 4 nights a week. Then just and then a couple of nights a week I'd go out and kind of get me rocks off playing some in a blues band. Searching for Tony saying, John, I'd rather have 30k in a great community that banter than 1 mil and have to dance around like a circus monkey to keep entertained. That, my friend, is a fantastic observation. It's... Can I just say that I'm going to nick one of Keith Williams from 5 Watt World, one of his quotes here. You lads are the channel. I just make the videos. I so wish I'd come up with that quote, but, that's one of Keith's. It's especially these Friday live streams. There's 172 souls on board at the moment. That's about kind of where we're usually at on a Friday. And just the camaraderie and the banter that goes on, I do not worry, but it does sort of think, well, if the channel was to kind of suddenly take off and go to 100,000, 200,000, some chance. But if it did, would we lose something by doing that? We'll have to see. I see there's a triple distilled. You have a bit of a fish finger fetish there, don't you, mate? Jacket spuds with fish fingers. No, fish fingers for me, it's strictly in the sandwich. It's strictly a sandwich format. Let's have a look, see what else I've missed. A lot of talk about air fryers. Johnny D talking about air fryers. David Evans talking about air fryers. They are fantastic. I can do Sunday morning, but basically in this house, it is the full cooked English breakfast, kind of bacon. Let's go through it. Bacon, eggs, sausage, beans, hash browns, black pudding, tomatoes, and basically the full Monty, the full works. And just bung it all in the air. Apart from the beans, obviously they go in a pan on the stove. And the eggs, obviously you can't do those in an air fryer. Or maybe you can. Maybe there's somebody who knows better than me on that. But all goes in the air fryer. Sorry, Steve Cassidy, mate. I know we're talking about stuff that you aren't really into here, are we? I know you're of a different persuasion when it comes to food stuff. So none of my business, and it's not something I want to kind of make any kind of getting into that whole debate. But I know we have, shall we say, some members of the vegan community in the chat, and he's me talking about bacon and black pudding and sausage and all that sort of stuff. I can understand. Steve Cassidy saying, "Don't worry about it, mate." Well, thank you, mate. I know it can, it can sort of antagonise, but thank you for being so tolerant. Scotch eggs are amazing in the air fryer. Guitar bass dude is saying, "Living doll, please." Yeah, okay. Less said about Uncle Cliff, the better, I think. Anyway, 59 minutes and coming up to 30 seconds in, and this is the last of me beer. And then it was gone right before your very eyes. That's it for this evening, chaps. I'm going to the races tomorrow. I meant to tell you that. I was going to talk about that. I'm having a day at the races, so I'll let you know how I got on next week. But that's the live stream for now. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat bald bloke talk absolute cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.